Oh, very good morning to you and welcome to Tollcross International Swimming Centre. It's day 2 here at the Glasgow International Swim Meet. I'm Duncan McKinnell and I'll be talking you through the action today, and I'm joined in the commentary box this morning by Ali White, the Director of Aquatics at Scottish Swimming. Morning, Ali.
Morning, Duncan.
What did you think about last night?
I thought there was some really good racing last night, to be honest with you. I think there was 3 meet records across the final session, and a good mix of junior and senior athletes across the races as well. So I think it was pretty positive.
Yeah, certainly you can see there in the water the pool is just being cleared at the end of the warm-up, so it's the last length being done by some of the swimmers, and then the water will be cleared and we'll be getting ready to go. We've got a busy program this morning. We start off with the 400 meters individual medley, women and men. So swimmers to look out for there. Lily Booker, who won the 200 IM. She'll go in the third heat in the women's 400 IM, and then Charlie Hutchison, who was impressive in the 200 IM yesterday.
He was. Had a good chat with him just half an hour ago, and he was pretty positive about the way he swam yesterday. He had a pretty tough trials when he had an illness at the time, and so he didn't perform to the level that he really wanted to. So his performance yesterday in 2 medley was extremely positive.
Following that, we've got breaststroke, women followed by the men. So Cara Hanlon will be back in, a strong 50 from her yesterday.
Yep, indeed, and a meet record to go with it as well. I think she was only a couple of tenths outside her lifetime best with that swim, and probably things to improve on as well.
She's having a great season, isn't she?
Seems to be going from strength to strength.
And then in the men's, we see the return of Craig Benson, who had a good battle with Archie Goodburn yesterday, a 1-2, Scottish 1-2 there, and I imagine it could well be the same again in the 100.
Yep, we know that Craig doesn't like to get beaten by any other Scot either, so I'm sure they'll be fighting out again.
200 butterfly follows that, and we've got for the women Kiana McInnes, who was another winner yesterday in the 100 butterfly. 200 is a stronger event, so expect a strong swim from Kiana this evening.
Yep, another one with a meet record yesterday, and a little bit faster than she did at the British Championships as well, so she's clearly in pretty decent form.
And for the men, Tom Bealey was probably headlining that one, and he'll go in lane 4 in the third heat of the men's 200 fly. Following that, the women's 200 freestyle. So we saw Lucy Hope and Evie Davis. Evie Davis, a winner in the 50 freestyle, just pipping Lucy, but the 200 freestyle is a different thing. Do you think that? Yeah, how would you think that might work?
Well, it's a different event, obviously. So I think Evie does like the 50 and the 1 primarily, but it will be interesting to see how she goes. And Lucy definitely looks at it in terms of the 1 and the 2. So
men's 200 freestyle. Following that, we saw an excellent 1500 from Jack Munsey. He was going probably towards the bottom of his range now, 200 freestyle.
Yeah, I'm delighted that he's at last accepted that it's the 8 and the 15 is actually going to be his main events.
So we'll see how he goes on the 200. He will go in the penultimate heat. We've got Stephen Milne, of course, very experienced 400 freestyler, going in the 200, so part of the Rio Olympic silver medal winning team. So we're looking forward to seeing him as well up against some really good English swimmers, Jacob Goodman and Charlie Brown, Charlie Poole as well from Stirling. And the Danes, of course, have sent a strong junior team, haven't they?
Absolutely brilliant that the Danes are here. Fabulous to have them with us. And they've certainly been swimming extremely well. I know that they've been enjoying the experience of being here in Glasgow, enjoyed it pre-COVID, and it's great to see them back here again.
Yep, and of course the Icelandic team as well, another junior team, and gives us a few challenges on the pronunciation. But
well, I'll be leaving that one to you, of course, or first names only.
Yeah, so please do in your comments just give us some tips if you're from Iceland as to what we should be doing there, but hopefully we'll do our best with that. It's certainly great to have the Icelandic and the Danish team, and of course we've got some from Ireland as well. Just completing our run through, as we don't have any swimmers out yet for that first event, which you can see up on your screen. So we then go to 50 backstroke. Cassie Wilde was the silver medalist behind Honey Osrin, wasn't it, I think, in the 200 backstroke, and she's going in the 50. Don't see her too often in the 50s.
Well, she did swim at the last Commonwealth Games in the 50 backstroke and the 100 backstroke. She's pretty nippy over the 50. I think she would definitely see the 100 as her main event, but equally, having gone 2-7 at the European Championships and won silver there and broken the Scottish record, you'd like to think that that would be something that she'd be focusing on as well.
And we finish off with the men's 50 backstroke. It'll be very interesting to see how far Scott Gibson goes. He just seems to be getting faster and faster this season on the 50 backstroke in particular.
Yeah, he's in great shape at the moment and really enjoying his swimming.
But here we go, right on cue, ready to go with our first heat of the morning. So this is heat 1 of the women's 400 metres individual medley. Looking across, we've got 6 swimmers. So the line-up, Louise Connell, City of Glasgow in 2. Her teammate Caris Mooney in 3. Lexine McCappin of first in lane 4. Libby Doubleday, City of Glasgow in 5. Cassie Wiper, City of Glasgow in lane 6. And Kristen Mackay of Warrender in the red cap in lane 7. So entry times range 5:27 up to 5:31. So the way this meet works is we have the faster heats this morning, and then we have the additional heats in the afternoon session, but they then get combined, and the fastest 20 go into the A and B finals. And then we have a junior final, which gets the next fastest 10 junior swimmers, which for women is 16 and under. So plenty of opportunities for these swimmers to get a second swim tonight, particularly the younger ones. And looking at this lineup, all bar one are juniors. Just Libby Doubleday, who's actually leading the way in lane 5, 17-year-old, so just outside the junior ranks. But she's off to a nice start. Leads by what? Nearly a body length at the end of the butterfly, 1:12.40. Lexine McCappin a second behind her, and then Louise Connell. So 2 from City of Glasgow, 1 from First, the full cut base team. And that's Lexine. So for the younger swimmers here, Ali, so we've had national age groups, which of course was very much a focus event for swimmers in Scotland. We've got the summer meets coming up, the British Summer Championships and the Scottish Summer Meet in July. So what will be their main aim in this meet?
Well, I think it's going to be a slightly mixed picture, to be honest with you, Duncan, because some of the younger swimmers will have gone through exams over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Some of them are still doing them, actually, to be honest with you. So I think one of the difficult things is trying to balance it out. It's totally possible, of course, if it's all organised and pre-planned, etc., that sort of thing. But that undoubtedly has an impact on athletes as they progress through this part of the season. However, having said that, meets like this really do offer an opportunity to look at more of the process-based aspects of racing, and not necessarily about how fast you're going at the end of the race, even though that's something that all swimmers are always trying to put in a good performance. But I suspect quite a lot of these younger swimmers will be looking about how they're going about their racing and what they're doing in terms of their preparation, with a view to maybe improving their performance and their outcomes when they get to the summer meets.
So still going very nicely in lane 5 is the 17-year-old Libby Doubleday. She's got a 5:27 entry time, and the lead is slightly shrinking in the breaststroke. We're seeing Lexine McCappin, so there was nearly a 5-second gap when they went into the breaststroke. You see that's down to about 3.5 seconds now. So Lexine is definitely brought it down. Whether she can get back on terms, I think is probably questionable. Caris Mooney and Louise Connell there in lanes 3 and 2 at the top of your screen, and then you can see the two on the bottom left there. Cassie Wiper and Kristen Mackay having a good contest, but still Libby Doubleday holding on to that lead, so we'll see what it's come down to. So remember, it was about 3.5 seconds halfway through the breaststroke. I think it will be less than that now. Libby going through 4:09.52, so the lead is just under 2 seconds now, so another second and a half taken off it. So Lexi's got a chance, you would think, here to bring this back in the freestyle. Setting about it pretty well as well.
Yep, just look at that. Both swimmers now with a 6-beat kick, but certainly it looks as though the gap is shrinking, and maybe that just laying off a little bit earlier on is just paying some dividends now in the freestyle leg.
Yeah, such a tactical race, the 400 medley, isn't it? Because you've got to actually measure your own strengths and weaknesses, but also the fact that it is a really grueling event.
It is probably the most skillful event out there. It does blend all sorts of things together as well, not least the ability to swim 4 strokes extremely well. And of course that's one of the things that we would be, really focusing on for youngsters to develop. I think that range of abilities and skills on strokes, and having that ability to have a level of endurance there, I think that's fundamental for young swimmers.
So that's a very nice swim from Lexi McCappin to bring this in. Really all about the breaststroke of freestyle for her, and comes in 5:24.91. So that was over 2.5 seconds inside her entry time. So she'll be very happy with that, you would think, to take that on an unrested swim. 5:26.95 for Libby, also inside her entry time by about a second. So good performance from her as well. Really leveraging, I guess, her strengths in the first half of that race, and then holding on well, I think, to improve on her entry time. Caris Mooney 5:28, so she was pretty much on her entry time as well. So good start to this morning's session. And heat 2 there up on the screen for you. We've got a full house, all 10 lanes occupied this time. So the lineup is Alice Cumming of City of Glasgow in lane 0, Kiana Kurtzer from the Scottish Swimming Junior team in lane 1, Anna Ron of Denmark in 2, then 2 more Danes, Caroline Kjellstrup in lane 3 and Martine Damborg in lane 4. Then we have Holly McGill, another from the Scottish Junior team in lane 5. Eva Falsdottir of Iceland in 6, Jory Horn of City of Glasgow in 7, Eleanor Ross from Tain in 8, and Kirsty Gilmore from Hamilton in lane 9. So 2 cycle-seeded heats, of course, in the 400 medley. So we're seeing the half of the top swimmers here, and Martine Damborg is off to a pretty good start here. The Dane, winner of the Danish Open earlier this year. And she's opened up a handy lead here in the butterfly. Entry time for her 4:54, and that is the time she did at the Danish Open. She is a youngster, 16-year-old just, and she'll be, I think, looking potentially for a place in the Danish European Junior team. Lane 2 is her teammate Anna Ron, and she's also going nicely here. Don't have any form for Anna, 17-year-old. And in lane 5, Holly McGill, wearing the blue of the Scottish Junior team. So Scottish Junior camp going on at the moment, Ali. What's are you trying to get from that?
The main focus is obviously we want to pull the best youth swimmers together, so that they're around each other, and the performance behaviours, if you like, the things that they do day in, day out, that they're sharing those experiences, but also it gives them a chance to really focus on some of their race prep. We have a preparation through at the back there where they're being observed and advised around some of the general principles about how best to prepare for the races, and then how best to recover afterwards. as well. But of course, when you're in a bigger group and there's I suppose a certain set of expectations that goes with it, then and they all have to buy in. We're really trying to build that Scottish team spirit that we have done over a number of years. So it's great to see them all here this weekend, and likewise for Holly, nominated for the Commonwealth Games as well, and she's tied into the Commonwealth Games side of things through this camp. We do have our nominated athletes here for the Commonwealth Games, so it's great that she's able to, I suppose, mix that up a little bit.
Yeah, we saw a great backstroke as you would expect from Holly, but she's falling back in the breaststroke, with Martine now just pulling away, showing some very nice breaststroke technique. So opening up nearly a 4-second advantage now from Holly, with Anna Rowan another second and a half back, although maybe closing on Holly in the white cap there in lane 2. But Martine Damborg, it looks like, has opened up, you would think, what was an unassailable lead now, but you never know. Certainly some of these youngsters from Denmark are showing some really good skills, aren't they, Ali?
Indeed, and it's pretty decent breaststroke there, leg there by Martine. So as she turns onto the freestyle and opened up that big gap, still looks fairly comfortable. Whether or not she's putting it all out there in the heats or just swimming comfortable just now to get herself into the final tonight, where perhaps it might be a wee bit more competitive for her and it might bring out the best in her performance.
Yeah, she's entered on 4:54 the time she did at the Danish Open, so she's not going to be hugely off that, I don't think. I mean, let's see what her turn is at 3:54.21, so that was a 34.5 split. So, you know, we're talking about something under 5 minutes, yeah. So this is impressive from Martine, certainly blowing away the cobwebs on an early Saturday morning, and making a statement for the rest of the field, saying, yeah, I'm going to be in there tonight. Nice long freestyle, the legs starting to go now as well, so clearly she's been given the instruction of swimming hard, and this is very impressive indeed. 4:54.48, so right on the time she did at the Danish Open, just 200ths away from it. So to do that in the morning heat swim here, presumably unrested, very impressive indeed. Anna Rowan there, 5:03.71. That's a massive swim from her. That was 10 seconds inside her entry time. So terrific stuff from the two Danes there. Holly McGill taking third in 5:07.30. So the Danes are here and showing their stuff.
Yeah, not quite taking it comfortably then, perhaps.
Well, she looked comfortable, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see what she can do this evening.
Yeah.
Whether she can get down towards the 450 there. So nicely done, Martine and Anna. Getting it done for Denmark. You can see the meet records there up on the top right-hand side for this meet, 4:40.28, as we move to heat number 3. The lineup here, again, all 10 swimmers present. Freya Beaton, City of Glasgow, goes in 0. Tegan Black of East Lothian in 1. Susie McNair of First in 2. Michaela Glenister of Stirling University in 3. Lily Booker of Loughborough University in 4. Grace Davison of Ireland in 5. Nuala Gow of Geary in 6. 7 is Amy McLeod of City of Glasgow. Suneva Asbjornsdottir of Iceland in 8, and India Marshall of East Lothian is in lane 9. So Lily Booker, winner of the 200 medley last night, the early leader here, 29.98 from Michaela Glenister in lane 3, and the 15-year-old from Ireland, Grace Davison, silver medalist. Silver medalist is probably the wrong technical term. Medals being distributed at this meet. So second place in the 200 medley yesterday, Grace. Another very promising talent coming out of the Irish programme. But it is Lily, the 21-year-old from Loughborough, 1:05.14. That is about a second and a half faster than the second heat, and a 3-second advantage over Michaela Grace, and then in fourth place Susie McNair of first in the blue cap lane 2. So pretty strong Loughborough contingent have come up to Glasgow this weekend. Of course, a number of the top British swimmers have gone over to the Mare Nostrum in Europe this weekend, and there's some very good swims coming from there, but we're seeing some good swims coming from here as well. Lily Booker has been quite impressive this weekend so far.
Yeah, she had a nice 200 medley yesterday, didn't she? And she looks as though she's in pretty good form. I think some of these Loughborough swimmers have been away in a training camp a few weeks ago to, I think it was Malaga they were in, so they're obviously in pretty good shape at the moment and looking to race well here with maybe another view on the summer as well. But yeah, I suppose if you're swimming that well just now, you want to then step it up again when it gets to the summer and hopefully post some really good performances at the right time.
Yeah, Lily was the silver medalist at the British Championships. She came up to Scotland in March to Edinburgh, bronze medalist at the Edinburgh International, and bronze medalist as well at British universities in February. So she's had a run of pretty good results in this 400 IM, and certainly looking strong here. And at the halfway mark, she was a couple of seconds faster than Martine Damboek's time. So we'll keep an eye on that at the end of the breaststroke, how that compares. So pacing just under the 40 seconds for her first 50 of breaststroke. And you see there, that is quite a bit faster than the others. So Michaela on a 42 and Grace on a 41. So that lead is continuing to increase, well over 10 meters now, nearer to 15 as Lily comes down. So Martine's split at 300 was 3:47. So this certainly looks as if it's going to be faster. Good contest going on for second there. Michaela has been swimming pretty well yesterday as well. Showed a nice form in that 200 individual medley. 3:41.94, so about 5 seconds faster than Martine. So this is pretty fast. Certainly on paper, Lily is a lot faster than anybody else, coming into the meet on a 4:43, with Martine's was the next fastest on 4:54. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised that Lily is dominating this. Dominating it, she certainly is. Just cameraman doing her best to hold two swimmers in the shot there, and you see Lily on her final turn there. 4:17.89 with 50 to go, just under a 36-second split, and
just clearly shutting it down on the freestyle leg, and turned in 3:41, and looked as though she was pretty comfortable on that as well. It was a pretty solid breaststroke leg that she put in, and clearly just stroking it out on the freestyle now, and looking forward to the final.
Yeah, so tick, job done, 4:52.02. So we'll be hoping to see something a fair bit faster than that this evening. But a good impressive swim. Michaela Glenister in on a 4:59, so that wasn't too far away from her entry time, and Grace Davison on a 5:02. So we expect to see probably that top four, certainly in the A final this evening. And Susie McNair on 5:09. I think we'll just have to see how that plays out against the other heats. Just having a look at that. I think she probably will be all right as well into the A final on a 5:09. 9th or 10th, I think. And then the others will be looking, I guess, for places in the B final or the junior final. So, confirmation of that heat result. Winner Lily Booker, Michaela Glenister, Grace Davison, your 1, 2, 3, 4:52.02 the winning time. And there you can see the top 10. So, Susie McNair does get in to the top 10 in 8th spot. But Dane and the Icelandic swimmers 9th and 10th, and there are provisionally your B finalists, because we've got more swims to come this afternoon, so that could change things. And that completes the lineup through there, 21 through to 26, as we get ready for the men's 400 metres individual medley. Again, we've got 3 heats here, just 3 swimmers in this first heat. There you can see the 3 are Dan Hall from University of Aberdeen Performance in 3, Robbie Carlyle of Bells Hill in 4, and Lewis Gibson of North Ayrshire in lane 5. Swimmers here, Robbie Carlyle got the fastest entry time, 5:08, and the other 2 on 5:11s. So it could be a good competitive affair between the 3 of them. All juniors, Dan 15, Robbie 16, and Lewis, the youngest of the 3, 14-year-old. Of course, their ages as at 31st December, so they might not have had their birthdays yet this year. But that's how we do things on the major events here in Scotland, age on 31st December. So Dan Hall, the early leader by about half a second. Dan 4th in North District age groups in this event up in Aberdeen in March. Strong swimming family, the Halls. And he is just gradually building his lead over Robbie and Lewis, not too much between them as we come up to the end of the butterfly. And 1:08.87. Dan's 100 split and lead of about second and nearly 3/4. 37 split against 38 for the other 2 boys. Into the backstroke, and Robbie just edging away from Lewis now a bit. Makes second his own. The gap looks to be fairly steady between Dan and Robbie. And we'll get an idea of their splits. Maybe Robbie is closing it down now. I think he definitely is starting to close it down a little bit. We'll see. Although on that shot, not so much maybe. And in fact, the splits are Dan slightly faster, so much for my eyesight. So a nice diagonal now across the pool as the 3 of them come down towards halfway. Both of them look pretty comfortable on backstroke, the 2 leaders. And still very much a race on here. The gap still around about 1.5 seconds as we go to breaststroke. And maybe now the signs are that Robbie is clawing this lead back. It definitely is now. You can see him coming up to the waist of Dan now. Dan, though, is sticking in there, and he's not going to let Robbie catch him easily. Yes. Only wanting to hold on to this advantage, and he's doing that pretty well. So again, 1/2 second faster for that split, and so he's got the lead up to 2 seconds now. And it's not like Lewis is making a bit of ground as well. He's got quite a bit of catching up to do, but he'll give it his best shot. So there is definitely a race to be had in the last quarter or so of this race, because you definitely feel that Dan's lead is coming under a little bit of pressure now. Coming up towards the 300. He's still got pretty much a body length advantage. Just get a nice shot of him coming into the wall. 4:01.43. So about 1.7 the gap now. So Robbie did take a little bit out of it in that last length. He'll need a really strong freestyle if he is to catch Dan now, and Dan is a pretty competent freestyler. He's good on 400 and thereabouts, so I'll be surprised now if Robbie can catch him, but let's see. Dan's entry time 5:11.9, so we'll be looking to see if he can get inside that. Turns for home 4:38.01, so well, he'll need a real sprint to manage 5:11 from that. He will, I'm sure, pick it up down this last length. Certainly I don't see him being caught now, so it's all about the time. Although, as you said earlier, Ali, it's about the technique at this stage. So not all about the time. What am I talking about?
No, but I do think that, I mean, the foundations, as I say, for anything is good technique. It's one of the things, the barriers later on in your swimming career. If you're wanting to progress, if you don't have the quality technique and the skills to go with it, then that's one of the key things that stops you from improving.
So confirmation of the result there. Dan Hall taking it 5:12.68 from Robbie Carlyle in second, and Lewis Gibson in third. So you can see the lineup there for heat number 2. So just run through it for you. Gregor Ross goes for City of Glasgow in lane 0, then 2 from Geary. Fraser Tetlow M1, Ben McLaughlin in 2. Robert Burgess of City of Glasgow in 3. Then we have George Smith in lane 4 for Leamington Spa. Matthew Ward from the Scottish junior team in 5. George Rudd of Maidenhead in 6, Kyle Mitchell of Geary in 7, Kai Connolly from the Scottish junior team in 8, and Cameron Doran of Bells Hill in lane 9. George Smith, 4:26 entry time, is some 9 seconds faster on paper than anybody else, and he has one of those two up at the front along with Matthew Ward. So Matthew wearing the blue of the Scottish junior team, and George the blue of Leamington Spa. And certainly Matthew is sticking with him in the fly pretty well. So is George Rudd in lane 6 from Maidenhead. Stamping ground from Tom Dean, of course. So it is Matthew leading the way, 1:03.17. That's an exciting prospect in the Scottish junior ranks, Matthew Ward, Ali.
Yeah, he's swims down at Mount Kelly, but we were talking about technique earlier on, and you know, Matthew has an excellent backstroke technique, and I think that's why you'll see him just moving ahead on this leg of the medley. Had a good swim yesterday in the 200 as well, where I think he swam 2:05 yesterday, so he's obviously in pretty decent shape at the moment. It's great to see him focusing on the 400 medley as well, and you can see him just picking up a wee bit of a gap there at this point.
I guess, you know, Matthew's 17-year-old. You don't want him to become a backstroke specialist at this stage. You want to see him do the range of strokes.
Well, I think it's good that he is still doing the range of strokes. I mean, clearly he favours the backstroke just now. I think he's going to Euro Juniors on the backstroke as well. I think that's his main focus. He's got a decent 100 on him as well. But I think at that stage of development, you don't want to close all your doors at that point, because you don't know how things are going to pan out in the future.
So he's got a 2-second advantage over George Smith at the halfway mark. Expect maybe George to come back at him now in the breaststroke. Third place still is George Rudd from Robert Burgess, who's not too far away from him there in the blue cap of the home club City of Glasgow. And it is now George Smith who has moved through, the 18-year-old from Leamington Spa. George represented Britain at the European Juniors last summer, was a finalist in this event, and so he'll be one that is a good prospect for the senior ranks in the years to come. And certainly breaststroke is now moved well clear of Matthew. just imposing his authority on this section of the race. Entry time 4:26, so he's not going to be swimming at that this morning. 3:31 with 50 to go, but comfortably nearly 5 seconds clear now of Matthew, so there was 2 seconds back on the going into the breaststroke, so a 7-second swing there on breaststroke. I know you say you've got to really be strong in all 4 strokes, but if you are strong on the breaststroke, that certainly gives you the edge, doesn't it, in medley?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a big differentiator, isn't it? You know, if you carry a decent breaststroke, but it's one of those things. You know, if you've got a decent breaststroke, it doesn't mean anything if you're not so good on the other 3. So we quite often see good breaststrokers coming through the field only to see that actually no, they can't maintain that when it comes to the freestyle. So it is a strength, and of course it's common sense, isn't it? If you've got all 4 and a strong breaststroke as part of that, then you're going to do pretty well.
Yeah, happy days in that scenario. And George Smith's got pretty happy days here. He's coming in to take this at a comfortable time of 4:35.83. Matthew Ward on a 4:40, so he's within about 4.5 seconds of his entry time, so that's, I think, pretty decent for his morning swim. George Rudd 4:47.52, also around 4-5 seconds from his entry time, and Robert Burgess 4:52. So that's your top 4 there, and they'll be looking to progress to the A final tonight. Ben McLaughlin 4:58. We'll just have to keep an eye on that one. That might be around about the cusp for a place in the A final. One more heat to go as we just get the confirmation of that second heat there.
Yep, pretty decent attitude from those boys in that heat there. Seem to be on it and really putting in a good shift.
So on to heat number 3, and the lineup here: Ewan Jones of West Lothian in 0, Thomas Traynor of East Kilbride in 1, Matthew McMillan from the Scottish Junior team in 2, Don Bissett, Stirling University in 3, Charlie Hutchison, Loughborough University in 4, Tom Robinson of Aberdeen Performance in 5, Vegard Sigmorson of Iceland in 6, Travis Davey of Dundee City Aquatics in 7, Greg Hall, Aberdeen Performance in 8, and Owen Williamson from East Lothian in lane 9. So we talked about Charlie Hutchison earlier and his impressive swim on the 200 medley. 400 medley, more his stronger event?
Yeah, that's his. That's what I think he would see as his main event. I expect him just to try and stroke it out this morning. I think he'll want to give it a right good bash this evening to see where he's at the moment. I think he's about 4:17, 4:18 odds, 400 medley somewhere. So I don't expect him to be anywhere near that this morning. But I think tonight he'll want to give it a good crack and see how he goes.
I mean, you talked about the disappointment that he had at the British Championships because of ill health knocking him out from a chance to represent Scotland in Birmingham. So what will his focus be now for the rest of the season?
So he is going to, he's obviously here, and I think his main focus will be around the British Summer Champs. He'll swim there, and I think he'll really try to put in his best performance in there. And I think for some swimmers at the British Summer Champs, you never know. The doors are always open for some events as well. The European Championship team, there are slots for development swimmers within that team, and that's not out with expectation for Charlie in terms of where his goals are. So if he is in good shape and good form, then why not? But you know, it's been a tough time, and he seems to have responded extremely well. We quite often say it's things are relative. When things are going well, it can be seen as being relatively easy. It's actually you show your mettle when things aren't going quite so well, and I think he's definitely proving that at the moment.
So it's certainly nice to see him swimming strongly again, and 2:12.07 is about 2.4 faster than George's halfway split. In fact, I think it was Matthew's halfway split at that point, but you know what I mean, from heat 2. So Charlie looking good here. Fairly tight for second. Tom Robinson, Aberdeen Performance in 5, and Don Bissett, who's a very strong breaststroker, is coming through now in lane 3 from Stirling University. And he, I think, is edging into second place now, although it's pretty tight. And they're a fair way behind Charlie, who turns halfway through the breaststroke 2:50.04. So strong, it's almost like a 200 breaststroker's breaststroke technique, would you say, for Charlie?
Well, he is actually, he's a 400 IM swimmer. He's pretty decent across all 4 200 individual events as well, and he is a strong 200 breaststroker. He's actually a very good 400 freestyler as well, which you'd expect if, as a more sort of middle distance swimmer, you'd expect him to have that. So he definitely has a pretty good base, and if you look at his underwater skills there as well, I mean, that's him just gone, what, 8 metres off the turn there at the back end of the, well, probably a bit longer as well, maybe 10 metres off the wall there when he was turning onto his freestyle leg, and whilst he's not going full pelt, still a good example of quality skills.
So he looks to have this one comfortably in his grasp. We'll see how his time compares in the end to George Smith's 4:35. So 4:02 with 50 to go. So certainly you would expect him to be faster than George. Don Bissett showing good skills from that breaststroke and taking that into the freestyle now. So he's looking good for second spot. He's Starling base swimmer. Don was B finalist at the Edinburgh International, finalist in the Scottish Winter Meet short course in December, but there's the time, 4:33.05, so that's about 2.8 faster than George was, so he'll have lane 4 in the final. 4:38.59 for Don, so a nice swim from him, just a couple of seconds away from his entry time, and Tom Robertson coming in for third place. Looking down, certainly I think those swimmers on 4:53. I think Travis will be okay for a place in the A final. The swimmers going into 5 minutes on the cusp. And Matthew, I'm not sure about whether he'll make it. He might have to settle for the B final. We'll see in a moment when we see the summary. As the final swimmers come in there. Greg Hall there came in 10th spot there. You see 5:04.81. So that's the line up there. Result of there. He'll be pleased to have been faster than his brother Dan. Don't want to stir up dissent in the Hall household. There's your summary there. There's your top 10. So Ben McLaughlin just getting in there. 4:58. In 10th spot, and as I thought, Matthew McMillan just has to settle for the B final on a 4:59 through down to Owen Williamson 5:14. So of course that could change this afternoon. It could well be swimmers getting into that sort of range of times, and there are your remaining trio. So we're done with 400 IM, and we move to breaststroke now, and it is the women up first. 5 heats, as you can see there, and we've got 5 swimmers going in heat 1. Millie Donaghy of East Kilbride in 2, Lucy Nimmo of Bells Hill in 3, Erica Watt of Heart of Midlothian in 4, and then 2 from City of Glasgow, Madeline Patterson in 5, Alice Cumming in lane 6. Entry times here 1:19 to 1:21. So it should be pretty close, and certainly starting off that way. All the swimmers really fairly close. Maybe Lucy Nimmo in lane 3 with a slight edge, the Bells Hill swimmer.
Breaststroke's a fascinating stroke, isn't it? When you watch people swim it, you get all different types of technique.
Coming out of the turn, seeing a strong turn skills there from Madeline Patterson, the 14-year-old from City of Glasgow. And she's, I think, now just, well, it's pretty tight between her and Lucy. Hard to tell on that camera shot just where they are relative to each other. Also, don't discount Millie Donachie, who's making a bit of a move in lane 2. But, well, it's going to be close here between Madeline and Lucy. But it's Madeline just with the strength through at the closing stages there to take it in 1:29.0. Get the summary there. 1:21.25 for Lucy Nimmo, and Millie Donachie 1:22.52, just 300ths ahead. Verica Watt. On to heat number 2. And the lineup here: Sarah Kravis and Tegan Black, both representing East Lothian, go in lane 0 and 1. And Kingston's Abigail Thompson in 2. Rebecca Cole of Hamilton in 3. A third East Lothian swimmer, Hayley Armstrong, goes in lane 4. Megan Ruddy of Hamilton in 5. Ella McGeorge of Cooper in 6. Holly Lumsden of Heart of Midlothian in 7. Leah Bullock of East Kilbride in 8. And Amber Stevenson for South Ayrshire in lane 9. So the times here, 1:18s and 1:19s. Strong start from the Hamilton swimmer Rebecca Cole in lane 3. Looks like she is going to touch first, just about anyway, from lane 6. Ella McGeorge. In fact, no, Leah Bullock in lane 8 getting it. 37.17, a little bit faster than the first heat. So Leah of East Kilbride down second to the bottom of your screen, and beside her the Hart swimmer Holly Lumsden is thereabouts. Then there is in lane 3 Rebecca Cole, is still close there. Hamilton teammate Megan Ruddy trying to get in about it, but well, all across the pool there are contenders here. And now it's lane 2, Abigail Thompson, not mentioned her, the Kingston swimmer, but she has a really good second half. And she takes the win in 1:19.68. So nice swim from the Kingston swimmer, 18-year-old. Rebecca Cole in second, Tegan Black in third place. On to the cycle seeded heats now. There's the lineup for the first of them. Rachel Saunders for the Scottish junior team in 0. Aoife Marley of Witham in 1. Lucy Stoves of Dundee City Aquatics in 2. Charlotte Hardy from the Scottish junior team in 3. Then we've got 3 from Edinburgh University. Katie Goodburn in 4. Anna Morgan in 5. Bridget Le Mesurier in 6. Catriona Stewart of Western Bartonshire in 7. Yasmin Ali of Warrender in 8. And Perry Scobby of Stirling Swim is in lane 9. Katie Goodburn, strong 50 breaststroke yesterday. She was the third spot in that race, and she is clear leader halfway through heat 3. 33.98, leads by nearly a second from Charlotte Hardy, very much breaststroke specialist. Although Anna Morgan may be just moving into second now. So the Edinburgh University trio will be looking to try and get a 1-2-3 here, but Charlotte will have ideas about that. Anna Morgan is pushing on now to try and come alongside Katie Goodburn. I think Katie's going to hold her. Charles as well on the other side is closing in, but Katie Goodburn, I think, knew what she was about there and takes the win 1:13.53, just by 12 hundredths from Anna Morgan, and 1:13.88 for Charlotte Hardy. Thoughts on that one, Ali?
Yeah, well, I guess with Katie there, you know that she's got some front end speed. Just in the last 10-15, just looked as though she was starting to tie up, and the other two girls coming through strongly. Charlotte certainly on the second 50. Looked really good. I don't think she's a million miles away from her best there either, Charlotte. So another good swim for her after a decent 200 medley yesterday.
And the line up there for heat number 4. 2 Warrender swimmers at the far side, Zara Smith and Sophie Hall in lane 0 and 1. And we've got Nuala Gao of Geary in 2, Ida Krach of Denmark in 3, Katie Robertson, Edinburgh University in 4, and Ailsa MacDonald, her teammate, in 5. Ciara Davison, City of Glasgow in 6, Emily McGee of Carnoustie in 7, and 2 more Warrender swimmers, May Rogers in 8, Aileen Stewart in lane 9. Well, Katie Robertson straight away off to a very strong start.
I think a large part of that is down to the starting skills. I think she took about a good half to 3/4 of her body length out of everybody just on the start. So, and then again on the underwaters there as well, that's another half body length. So it just shows you the importance there, and Katie definitely showing off on from that perspective.
Yeah, Katie second in the B final at the British Championships, and they're looking to dominate this one, which she's doing pretty successfully over Ida Krach and Ailsa MacDonald. 1:10.20 entry time for Katie, and well, that's pretty handy for a morning swim. 1:11.02. So Katie clearly meaning business there, taking that quite seriously.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not the actual time that you get on the board, it's the way that you swim the race, and I think she swam it there with a nice tempo, but reasonably long on the first 50, and you could see just down the second half of the race in the last 25 just trying to increase the rate of her strokes at that stage. So I think she's pretty pleased about the way that she swam the race.
So we've got one empty lane in this one, that's lane 6. So the lineup here is Gilla Kirkter, Denmark in 0, Anna de Grosser of Best in 1, Olwen Cook, Edinburgh University in 2, Justine Tabor of Denmark in 3, Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh University in 4, Maya Hall of Borough of Stockton in 5, Adi Robertson of South Ayrshire in 7, Amy McLeod, City of Glasgow in 8, and Mari Craig goes for Stirling Swim in lane 9. So we talked about Cara Hanlon's 50 breaststroke yesterday, and she is pushing this one out well, 33.14, and that is faster than we saw from Katie. So contrast Cara and Katie in terms of breaststroke techniques.
Well, there's obviously a different physicality around them both as well, and so Cara swims at a slightly higher rate than Katie does as well, and you can see here that perhaps the manner in which she's swimming this one, Cara looking maybe to bring this one back quicker. We know that going out in a 33 shouldn't be too much of a problem for her when you go 31.3 in the 50s. So yeah, 35.6 on there and a 68.8. So I think that would be relatively pleasing on the heat, and maybe look to improve on that in the final.
Yeah, I mean, she's talking about 67.5 sort of time, isn't it, as best time? So to go that 68.8 is pretty handy, isn't it? And certainly will give her lane 4 comfortably for tonight's final. Olwen Cook making it in Edinburgh 1-2 there, first and second, and there you can see the lineup. Look at that, Edinburgh University 1, 2, 3, 4. So yep, the Chris Jones, Matt Trodden breaststroke empire marches on.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, very impressive breaststroke women at Edinburgh University, aren't they? That's
well, it's great, and sometimes you get that level of internal competition that goes on, friendly competition obviously, as teammates, but certainly an excellent environment just now for those girls, and they're just starting to show a wee bit of that now in the racing, aren't they? So it's good to see.
Yeah, very exciting stuff, I think, going on there. So on to the men's 100 breaststroke now. Again, we've got 5 heats, and there is your lineup for the first of them. Finn Bremner Going for Warrender in 1, Owen Carroll of Perth City in 2, Luke Hornsey from the Scottish junior team in 3, then 4 from City of Glasgow, David Blair, Robson Miles, the para swimmer SB14, Gavin Roberts in 6, Jake Holmes in 7, and then Stefan Kravis from the national junior team going in lane 8. Swim times here, 109s, 110s. In this first heat, it looks like Robson Miles, that Glasgow contingent, is going to have the touch at the 50 in 32.60. Lead of only 400s, it looked like it was more than that. So certainly the Glasgow swimmers strongly in contention. Stefan Kravis going nicely down at the bottom of your screen. Didn't really think of him as a breaststroker, but he's showing all-round skills here. He's had some good IM swim yesterday. So as they're coming in, it looks like it is going to be Robson. And he comes in just under the 110, 109.98. Enter 109.5, so not too far away from that. David Blair second and Luke Hornsey in third. On to heat number 2. Jamie Ferguson, Aberdeen Performance in 0, Sam Harrison of Perth City in 1, Pierce Greening, Stirling University in 2, Kari Haldorsen of Iceland in 3, Micah Van Blerk of Warrender in 4, Murray Pritchard, Perth City in 5, Gregor Swinney of City of Glasgow in 6, Connor Mitchell of Warrender in 7, and 2 from Stirling University, Harper Whitehead and Tony Joe Trent Oliver in lanes 8 and 9. A little bit of a surprise to see Gregor Swinney swimming breaststroke here. I'm not sure I've seen that before for a while.
I haven't seen that for a while, no, and but I think he likes racing, and of course it's an opportunity to get another swim in there. He swam a lovely 100 fly yesterday to take the win, and a meet record there as well. So he's clearly in pretty decent form. Broke the Scottish record in the 50 fly down at the British Championship. So great to see him in really good form.
So he's second at the turn behind Micah Van Blerk, but coming down the second half, he's right up there. So down on the bottom of your screen there, Harper Whitehead going well, and up in lane 2, Pierce Greening from Stirling University. So looks like maybe Pierce is the one who is pushing it on in the second half here. See as they come in, you can see he's got the edge on the swimmers at the bottom of your screen. Great finish from Tony Joe Trent Oliver there, coming in lane 9 in second spot. So certainly swimmers from all around the pool there in contention, but it was Pierce Greening taking it 107.04, so a decent swim from him. Entered 68.3, so, well, 68 dead rather, so nice improvement on that. On to heat number 3. Connor Massey, Aberdeen Performance in 0, Angus Allison of Stirling University in 1, Joshua Mitchell of Edinburgh University in 2, Rory Dixon, Stirling University in 3, Eugene Cook, Edinburgh University in 4, William Ellington of Stirling University in 5, Jonas Gaur of Denmark in 6 rather, Liam Davis of Edinburgh University in 7, Andrew Arthur of Stirling University in 8, and Connor Morrison, the SB14 swimmer, going for Aberdeen Performance in lane 9. So lane 4, Eugene Cook, Edinburgh University, Irishman, is looking to take this one out. Silver medalist in the Irish Championships in Dublin in April. He's got the edge by maybe half a metre at the 50 turn, 30.16. From William Ellington, Jonas Carr, so good international flavour to this heat. But it is the Irishman from Edinburgh, Eugene Cook, who's holding the advantage down the second length. Pushing hard in lane 6, Jonas Carr. in the white cap for Ireland, but I think he's going to just miss out from a top 3 place as Cook takes it in 1:04.10. I think swimming well within himself there. So.
Indeed, a young swimmer with an excellent work ethic, Ishin, so looking pretty comfortable, I have to say. Nice to see Rory Dixon up there as well, actually. Had a great British Championships, popped in some really good swims there. Lovely to see him being competitive.
So on to heat number 4. We've got Charlie Trotman, Edinburgh University in 0. Aron Thor Jonsson of Iceland in 1. Snorri Dega Inarsson, also from Iceland, in 2. Elias Elsgaard of Denmark in 3. Archie Goodburn, Edinburgh University in 4. Ross Young of Edinburgh University in 5. Daddy Bjornsson of Iceland in 6. His teammate Einar Agusson in lane 7. Don Bissett, Stirling University in 8. And Greg Fairbairn, also from Stirling University, in lane 9. So Archie Goodburn had that shootout with Craig Benson in the 50 breaststroke last night, just losing out to Craig. But in a pretty tight contest, he leads the way 29.82 at the halfway point. Archie 4th in the British Championships. 100 breaststroke his strongest event?
Well, it could be. And I think the interesting thing about Archie is he has got some really good speed, but I think he could also be a decent 200 breaststroker as well. So maybe the 100 is the one that he'll land on. I would imagine that he'll be reasonably happy with that at the moment.
Certainly over a second faster than Cook in the previous heat, and a comfortable win then. Certainly looked to be well within himself. Elsgaard second, and Agusson in third, 1:04.8, 1:05.2 from Ross Young just behind them. So 1:05.3s there.
I think when you start doing the Icelandic and Danish names, I think you should have to put on the accent as well. Don't just get the names right, get the accent right as well.
Well, I'll let you demonstrate that, and then you can show me how it's done.
Oh dear.
So in this one, we've got Emil Moravsky of Warrender in 0, Hugh Takimoto of Edinburgh University in 1, Matthias Christensen of Denmark in 2, 2 from City of Glasgow, Youssef Betout in 3, Craig Benson in 4, Callum Melville for the Scottish junior team in 5, Robert Pedersen of Denmark in 6, Alex Meyer of Stirling University in 7, Evan Bailey of Ireland in 8, and Ethan Horn of City of Glasgow in 9. A big shout out to any listeners from Denmark and Iceland. It's great to have you with us, and it's lovely to have your athletes swimming here in Glasgow, and we're very grateful that they've taken the opportunity to come across, and we're enjoying watching them perform. And Robert Pedersen is certainly in and about it in lane 6, along with Craig Benson and Callum Melville. Craig, as I mentioned, winner of the 50 breaststroke yesterday, our last race of yesterday evening, and looks like he's going to be there to compete strongly in the 100, 1:03.98. Not quite as fast as Archie, but a good solid swim. So I think he'll be in lane 5 on that swim in the finals, assuming no upsets. Callum Melville, good strong swim from him, 1:04.84, an exciting breaststroke prospect. Callum?
Yeah, indeed, and in particularly good form at the Scottish winter meet there, when I think he broke the British junior record on the 200 breaststroke. Certainly saw some great form there, and was pretty good at the British Championships as well. Always looking for a little bit more as Callum, but it'd be nice to see him going up against the seniors tonight.
So as we run through the summary of the 100 breaststroke, we get ready for 200 butterfly. We've got 3 heats for the women. Just complete our line-up through, because we had 5 heats, so 1 disqualification. I think I missed that at the time, but Michael van Block, unfortunately, a disqualification there. So fortunate for him. but I'm sure he'll get guidance as to what happened and learn from that. So 3 heats for the 200 butterfly women's event, and the lineup for the first one: Erica Watt of Hearts in 0, Georgia Reed, City of Glasgow in 1, Madison Cool of Bucky in 2, Stella McCarty, City of Glasgow in 3, Yasmin Perry of Aberdeen Performance in 4, Amanda Madsen of Denmark in 5, Coco Croxford from the Scottish junior team in 6, Lucy de Grosser from Best in 7, and Ellen Denny of Geary in lane 8. Yasmin Perry was third, I think, from memory in the 100 fly yesterday. And she leads the way here, 30.36. Don't think of Yasmin so much as a 200 fly swimmer. I think this is maybe just a good workout for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she primarily sees herself as a 50 onto the 100 type swimmer, but quite often in the season swims the 200 fly. I think she feels it helps her with her 100. It helps her to focus on trying to maintain her technique, which of course we know as you get tired towards the back end of a race, the better you can hold your technique, the more likely you are to swim efficiently and keep your speed up. So it is nice to see her doing that, but she looks as though she's taken it out quite strong there.
I suppose it's quite different doing it in competition compared with doing it in a training set.
Of course, I mean, you can create conditions in training which maybe helps you to be as motivated as possible, but nothing, I think, replaces actual racing. And of course, if you're an athlete, then I think most athletes enjoy racing, otherwise why would they do it? So I think it does help to motivate, and helps you to get a little bit more out yourself.
So Yasmin certainly in full control here from Amanda Madsen in second place. Amanda second in the Danish Open, Danish junior champion, youngster 17 years old. And she is just closing the gap a little bit, but she's not going to catch Yasmin or anything close. And Yasmin holding that stroke together pretty well at the back end of that 200 fly to take the win into 17.77. Amanda 2:20.41 in second, so those two well clear of Coco and Stella coming in on 2:27 and 2:28 respectively. The two Glasgow swimmers, although Coco this week representing the Scottish junior team. Coco just 14 years old, so that was a good solid swim from her. Entered 2:28.68, so knocks a second off that. She'll be happy about that, and get some feedback from the coaching team that are with the junior team this weekend. What went well, mostly went well there for her.
Off the back of a decent 100 as well yesterday, I think she was nicely inside her best as well, so obviously in good form at the moment.
So on to heat number 2. And the lineup here: Lauren Anderson of Foldhouse in 0, Milana Lowe of South Aberdeenshire in 1, Jory Horn of City of Glasgow in 2, Cecile Hellmark of Denmark in 3, Kira Schlossen, Edinburgh University in 4, Jennifer King of Stirling University is in lane 5, Orla McInnes of Heart of Midlothian in 6, Eva Gordon of Stirling Swim in 7, and Kristen Mackay of Warrender in lane 8. So this time it is Kira Schlossen leading the way, British Championship finalist. I think in her first season at Edinburgh, 30.54, so a little slower than Yasmin Split, not much. But Kira probably more experienced 200 fly swimmer, bronze medalist at the Edinburgh International. And she's got company as well, which might just push her on. Cecile in 3 and Jennifer in lane 5. Staying in touch with Kira through halfway, 1:05.43, now slightly faster than Yasmin Split, leading by a second.
Jen King there just starting to pick up her work rate as well. An absolute
so she's in her first year at Stirling, having been in the States for a good number of years.
yeah, and she's one of those athletes that gives her all, whether she's in training or whether she's in racing. Seems to really love the sport as well, loved her experience in the States. I did post-grad at Stirling, but you can see there she's giving it all, just trying to pick up on Kira Slauson, who I think actually still looks pretty comfortable up front.
Yep, so they're going to be the 1-2. Cecile Helmart now just dropped back, but she's certainly going to be comfortable in third. And hopefully that will be good enough to get her into the A final, but no problems for Kira. Strong second half, 2:16.08, so that's about a second and 3/4 faster than Yasmin in the end. Jennifer King there, 2:18.19 for her. Entered around the 2:14 mark, so just 4 seconds away from that. And Helmart 2:22.49. She was around 3 seconds away from her entry time, but you can see a big gap between her and fourth place Orla McInnes at 2:30.42 for Orla. So that looks like that sort of 2:22 mark might sort of be the sort of zone that you have to do to get into the A final. So the third heat up on your screen, and the lineup: Madison Gallagher of first, Lexi McCappin also first in 1, Nuala Gow of Geary in 2, Catherine Bailey in the Scottish junior team in 3, Kiana McInnes, Stirling University in 4, Yvonne Brown of Aberdeen Performance in 5, Hannah Willis of the Scottish junior team in 6, Kate Cassidy of Aberdeen Performance in 7, and Helen Stoddart in lane 8 for East Lothian. So Kiana McInnes, you would think, would be a pretty hot favourite for this heat. Yvonne Brown, of course, very strong as well. But in 200 fly, perhaps not in Kiana's class.
Not quite yet. I think she's Yvonne's certainly been progressing in the event, and you can see that from her 100 flies just gradually coming down as well. So I'd expect to see over the coming seasons that event just gradually improving. But Kiana certainly, over the last 4 or 5 years, has shown that she's one of the best in Britain around the 200 fly, just narrowly missing out on the Olympic Games as well, actually, in terms of that selection. So, but at the Europeans last year, did a great job there. So it's good to see her firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, nominated for Scotland for the Commonwealth Games, of course, so we'll be hoping for good things from her in Birmingham. And going through 1:03.28 is a couple of seconds faster than Kira Schlossen split. Yvonne Brown is going very nicely there in lane 5. Winner in her home pool in Aberdeen, British Championship finalist. And she's, what, 3 metres or so back on Kiana, 1:37.76 against Yvonne's 1:39.48. Catherine Bailey, one of the Scottish junior team members, is in third place, but quite a long way back. So the 1-2 here is very clear. And the question is, what sort of time are we going to see from Kiana? Entered on a 2:08. So it's not hugely away from that. Coming in to 2:12.22, comfortably the fastest qualifier for tonight. What would you expect her to be able to take that down to tonight?
Well, I mean, going off the, well, that's right. I think off the 100 last night, I think she'll be looking to get down to where she was, or even slightly faster than she was at the British Championships. And I think she did that. That'd be in terms of outcome, would be really, really good. I think she looked pretty comfortable there, the way she swam that race as well. And I think Yvonne there looked pretty strong down the last 50. So I think if both girls can improve tonight, you know, potentially we could see a really good race.
Yvonne's time very close to her entry time at 2:13.9, so only a couple of tenths away from that. Catherine Bailey there in comfortable third. I think she'll be good for a place in the A final with that 2:21. Nuala Gow, well, Wait and see, maybe a B final for her. And there is confirmation. And 10th spot there, 2:28, Stella McCarty. It's McInnes, Brown and Schlossen now 1, 2, 3 going into the A final. There are your B finalists, led by Orla McInnes, and down through to Helen Stoddart getting it in. Of course, dependent on what happens this afternoon. And there's the remaining swimmers there. Georgia through to Erica. As we turn our attention to the men. Again, there will be 3 heats here. And you'll line up there for the first of them. Skachan side of Geary will go in 0. His teammate Fraser Tetlow in 1. Zach Speakman, Stirling University in 2. Ross Noble from the Scottish junior team in 3. Cole Hewitt, Swansea University in 4. Benjamin Chuyan of Edinburgh University, I should say. Apologies, Ben. Goes in 5. Fraser Wilson at Aberdeen Performance in 6. Kyle Mitchell of Geary in 7. Cameron Bruce of Lanark in lane 8. Cole Hewitt with the fastest entry time here. Was 20-year-old from Swansea, was in the Paris Potential final in the British Championships where he was 4th. So he goes in the white cap in lane 4. Ross Noble rather, Ali, is in the junior teams, not one we've seen too much of. Ross, tell me about Ross.
Well, you probably won't have seen too much of him because he actually lives in the States, and we are absolutely delighted to have him here. Has been extremely committed to taking part in the activities, especially through COVID, where we did quite a lot of that stuff online, and made the decision to come over and race here in Glasgow. He's over with his mum and dad, and made the trip across, so we're delighted to have him with us.
So welcome to the Nobles. But he's currently in 4th place behind Cole Hewitt, Zach Speakman and Ben Chuyan. 1:00 and 1:01s, the 3 of them, and it is very much Cole Hewitt, the 20-year-old from Swansea, who leads the way, and it's pretty close between Zach Speakman and Ben Chuyan for 2nd place. Then Ross Noble ahead of Fraser Wilson. So up to the 150. Cole turns 1:33.79. So a lead of about 1.3. Ben just now ahead of Zach. And maybe just trying to eat into Cole's lead now. He's definitely pulling it back. Whether he can catch him or not, Zach also trying to do much the same. So this is getting tight now into the final 5 meters. They are racing this, particularly Ben, who ends up taking it in 2:09.56. That was a pretty aggressive heat swim there down that final 50.
I think he maybe just saw that Cole was maybe just tying a wee bit, and there's a 2-second difference in that last 50. Nice to see somebody coming through strong in a 200 fly rather than dying in a 200 fly, so it's good stuff there from Ben.
Yep, so he takes the first heat, confirmation there. Zach Speakman 2nd, 2:10.18, and the long-time leader 2:10.28 for Cole. On to heat number 2. Ewan McLeod of Lanark in lane 0. Fraser Claxton Hearts in 1. George Rudd of Maidenhead in 2. Igor Suvalov, Edinburgh University in 3. Edward Rednich, Stirling University in 4. Albert Bangan, Stirling University in 5. Scott Fleming of East Kilbride in 6. Angus Allison, Stirling University in 7. Ben McLaughlin of Geary in 8. And Logan Scally, Aberdeen Performance in lane 9. Edward Rednich, Romanian, is looking very strong off the blocks there. Romanian champion. Don't know whether he's been selected by Romania for the Worlds, but it'd be lovely if he has been.
Yeah, not sure about that one, but he has obviously competed for Romania at the international level previously.
Beside him is his teammate Albert Bangun, Indonesian swimmer. So really Stirling attracting an international compliment among its athletes.
I think that's one of the strengths of the university sector in Scotland, isn't it? Quite predominant in Edinburgh and Stirling, the international flavour. Not just from across Britain, if you call that international, but certainly from around the world as well. And it's quite clear from the summer swimming within the meet here this weekend that there's a number of athletes that have decided that it's a good place to come and swim, but it's also a good place to come for your education as well.
Yeah, a nice combination, isn't it, of strong academic programs and strong swimming programs. So it is Rednich and Bangun, not much between them. 300s, 134.5s for the pair of them. But it just looks like Rednich just has that strength off the wall there and is certainly not going to allow Albert, I think, to get anywhere too close to him. Good contest going on for third. Angus Allison looking to make it a Stirling 1-2-3. He's got Scott Fleming to deal with beside him as Rednich and Bangun coming in for first and second. Rednich with a bit of a glide into the wall there, takes it 2:07.79. So that was nearly 2 seconds faster than Benjamin Chuyan in the first heat. Bangun 2:09.17, and it was Allison just edging out Fleming for third, 2:13.22 for Angus against 2:13.28 for Scott. Yes, for Angus Allison, that's another swimmer who's maybe just doing a slightly unfamiliar event for him.
Nah, Angus would do every event if he could.
Okay. It's not what I've seen him do too often.
He's a 400 medley swimmer, isn't he? So he's another one that tends to be able to do the 4 200s.
It's a bit of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heat number 3. Line up here, Lucas Johnson of Aberdeen Performance, James Burnett of Warrender, Mark Innes, Edinburgh University, Callum Rose of Warrender, Tom Bealey, Plymouth Leander, Mark Elric, City of Glasgow, Peter Allen, Stirling University, Rory Young, City of Glasgow, and then 2 East Lothian swimmers, Zach Slater and Ross Anderton. In fact, an empty lane in lane 4, no Tom Bealey here today. So it gives the opportunities to the 3 in lanes 3, 5 and 6, who are all pretty close. Mark Elric leads the way, 28.37. City of Glasgow swimmer. Winner in Aberdeen recently, finalist in British Universities and the Scottish Winter Meet. Beside him, Peter Allen of Stirling University. Did his entry time at the British Championships, also a finalist in the Scottish Winter Meet. And he's the one I think is going to have the lead at the halfway mark out of lane 6. 1:01.55. I guess with no Tom Bealey, it's no surprise that this is slightly slower than the previous heats. But Peter Allen going well, 21-year-old. I don't know too much about Peter's background, his first season at Stirling. Thanks for the help, Ali. 1:35.37 though, he's going very nicely. And certainly looks to have this one pretty well sorted now. Mark Elric comfortable in second, but he's not going to catch Peter. Third place in the red cap of Warrender, Callum Rose, and he's looking set for third with behind him another City Glasgow swimmer, Rory Young. But this is going to be Peter Allen's race by a fairly comfortable margin. Came into the meet on a 2:09.30, not too far away from that, 2:10.11. So good, strong swim there from Peter to take our final heat of 200 butterfly. Mark Elric, 2:13.59 in second. Callum Rose third, 2:14.04. Imagine those 3 will have done enough to make it to the A final. We'll see in a moment. Rory Young, then James Burnett, 219s and 220. Maybe we'll be in B final territory. So we'll get the summary of that heat, confirming there the 8 swims there. And here are the top 10. So Mark Elric just edging in. Rednich the fastest qualifier, 2:07.79 from Bang and Shuyan. And there are your lineup. So Callum Rose, in fact, just missing out on the A final. He'll head up by quite a margin there, 5 seconds in the B final. And there's your remaining swimmers. We're hoping to get into the junior final. 200 freestyle is next up. Again, we start with the women. And 5 heats. So the lineup for the first of them. City of Glasgow's Hannah Edmondson goes in 1. Amber Stevenson of South Ayrshire in 2. Ashley Drake of Warrender in 3. Phoebe Arbuckle of the Scottish Junior team in 4. Ella Thatcher Plant of Edinburgh University in 5. Nadia Jurovic of Iceland in 6. Abby Davis of East Lothian in 7. And Ella Stevenson of Bells Hill in lane 8. 2:12s to 2:14s, the range of entry times here. Looks like it's going to be lane 7. Abby Davis just turning first, 30:52 for Abby, entered on a 2:14.14. East Lothian had a fantastic National Age Group Championships under coach Jamie Ward, who this weekend I think is coaching with the junior team. But they would have been absolutely delighted, I think, with how their age groups went. But Abby coming under a bit of pressure now. From lane 8, Ella Stevenson, and lane 4, Phoebe Arbuckle. Phoebe turning first, 1:04.91. Phoebe, a national age group champion in this event for her age group, just 14. So at the young end of the junior team. So Warren, the swimmer, is looking pretty good here. Ella Thatcher Plant in lane 5 is in second place now, and it's tight between Abby Davis and Ashley Drake for third. In fact, Ella Stevenson, I should say, rather than Abby. It's lane 8 in third place. But as this race has progressed, Phoebe's lead has stretched, and she will take this pretty comfortably. This one is getting urged on from coaches at the side as Phoebe brings it in 2:12.09. That's inside her entry time by 6/10. So nice swim from her, and shows very nice technique there on the freestyle from Phoebe. That's another exciting prospect coming up.
Yeah, swims with Warren de Bath, I think. So another young female athlete coming through, which is great to see. Swam it very nicely as well. I think about 65, 67, very even. And it looks strong coming down the last 25 as well.
On to heat number 2. We've got Eve Mayer of South Ayrshire in 0. Florence Tinsley of Stirling University in 1. Olwyn Cook, Edinburgh University in 2. Lauren Patterson, Edinburgh University in 3. Millie Milne of Warrender in 4. Jennifer Murray of Edinburgh University in 5. Isabel Wood, Stirling Swim in 6. Susie McNair of First in 7. Kerry Gillespie, Aberdeen Performance in 8. And Gudbjorg Gudmundsdottir of Iceland in lane 9. So very much going pretty much with the seeding, with the centre lanes leading the way through the 50. Jan Murray just a tenth ahead of Millie Milne, 29.72. About 8/10 faster than the previous heat. Others in contention. Long swim coming in from Florence Tinsley in lane 1. In fact, she has moved into the lead with a strong second 50. Then a trio of swimmers vying for second. Maybe the Edinburgh University swimmer Jennifer Murray it is. Florence going through 1:01.99, about 3 seconds faster than the previous heat. Leads by around about half a second. Lauren Patterson trying to make a bit of a move in lane 3. Still Jem Murray up there in 5. So can they hunt down the Starling swimmer in the latter stages? Because she's still going to lead them into the final 50. 35.44. See the pacing there, slightly faster Jennifer and Lauren, a couple of tenths, but they've got a fair bit to make up. So in this second heat, we've got the cycle seeded heats to come, so you really need a good strong swim here to try and get an evening swim. So let's see if any of them can do that. It is tightening up now in the Edinburgh Stirling battle. And I think it'll be the Edinburgh swimmers are coming through, but which one's going to get it? Really close there, but Jennifer Murray just managed to get it by 700ths from Lauren Patterson. And Florence Tinsley just behind them, a second behind them in third spot. 2:09.20 then is the winning time there. So good swims there. That was a second inside her entry time. In fact, Jennifer and Lauren improving on their entry times there. And in fact Florence as well, so just waiting for confirmation of that to come up with. That's just slightly slower than normal, so I don't know whether there's an issue, hopefully not, or maybe they're discussing a time or a place. And here we have confirmation now, so here's 2:09.20 and 2:09.27 for the two Edinburgh University ladies. Florence third, 2:10.28. So on to heat number 3. Looks like we've got an empty lane in lane 6. So the lineup here is Kaylin Hall, Aberdeen Performance in 0, Abby Hull, Edinburgh University in 1, Molly McAlorum of Ulster in 2, Fenya Romansky of Denmark in 3, Evelyn Davis of Bromley in 4, Drew McKenzie from the Scottish junior team in 5. Then, as I said, empty lane in 6. Rachel Anderson of Loughborough in 7. Mari Craig, Stirling Swim in 8. Alice Shields, Edinburgh University in 9. So through the 50, and it's lanes 5 and 7. Rachel Anderson just edging it, 29.15. Rachel from Loughborough. She is certainly right up there with the centre lanes, but maybe just lane 4 now. Evie Davis just edging it, only by 100th, a little bit more than that. 1:01.10 against Rachel's 1:01.11, and Fenya up there as well. Nice bit of an edge from Evie there. So obviously very much a freestyle specialist, Evie, but what's her best distance, do you think?
Well, she's still quite young, so it's going to be quite hard to tell, but I think she certainly excels on the 100 at the moment. She's shown up on the 50 as well at the Olympic trials particularly last year, well, both on the 50 and the 100 at Olympic trials. So I think we all think she's got a decent 200 inside her as well. I know she's entered in a 2:03, but I think we all think she could go a little bit quicker than that. Well, not obviously today, but certainly in the future.
But it looks like it's Rachel who's going to edge this one. In fact, more than edge it. She's up by about a body length. And taking the win, looking good there, 2:04.97. That's a second inside her entry time, so nice swim from Rachel Anderson there. So she has made her statement. Evelyn Davis in second place, 2:06.72 for her. Mari Craig taking third. That's a pretty decent swim there from the Stirling swimmer. just touching out Drew Mackenzie.
Yeah, Vary having I think she swam down at the British Championships, had a decent swim down there, and was pretty good at the Scottish age group champs as well.
So on to heat number 4. Full lineup here. Olivia Butler, Edinburgh University in 0. Catherine Bailey of the Scottish junior team in 1. Kristen Hakonadottir of Iceland in 2. Maisie Elliott, Loughborough in 3. Katie Shanahan is in fact missing in lane 4, so she's not around. Georgina Dennis, Loughborough in 5. Honey Osrin, also of Loughborough in 6. Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen in 7. Amelia Moole of Loughborough in 8, and Ailsa MacDonald, Edinburgh University in lane 9. So to heat 4, 29.26, Maisie Elliott with the lead at the 50. 2:04.8 entry time for her. Lane 5, her teammate Georgina Dennis.
Former member of the Scottish junior team as well.
Yeah, so good to
nice
see
to
her.
see her, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Performing nicely there, has the lead at halfway, 1:01.09. Georgina, B finalist in Edinburgh in March. And she's just edging now into the lead. She, of course, in the absence of lane 4, has the fastest entry time, 2:03.64. Honey Osrin, who was impressive yesterday, winning. I can't remember what it is she won. My mind's gone blank.
200 back.
Thank you. So she is up here on the freestyle. So the two Loughborough swimmers pretty much side by side here as we come down the final length. Looks like it's going to be at lane 5, Georgina. Also Maisie Elliott making it a Loughborough 1-2-3. So Georgina, Honey and Maisie taking the honours there. 2:06.02, 2:06.68, 2:06.87. Georgina entered 2:03.6, so a couple of seconds away from that, but we'll hope to make that up tonight. Final heat of the women's 200 freestyle. Christine Nielsen Norby goes for Denmark in 0. Natasha Simpson in lane 1 for the Scottish junior team. Anna Røen of Denmark in 2. Scarlett Orchard of Loughborough in 3. Lucy Holmes, Stirling University in 4. Marion Honke of Loughborough University in 5. And Thastrup Hansen of Denmark in 6. Laura Hodgson of the Scottish junior team in 7. Ellie Turner of Stirling University in 8. And Freya Bakisdottir of Iceland in lane 9. And Lucy Holmes straight off to a pretty big lead there, 28.56. Swimmer has made her move across from Edinburgh to Stirling in this last year, and settling into a new program, I'm sure, and looking to make her mark on this 200 freestyle. Part of her preparations for Birmingham, assuming, of course, that her nomination is accepted. 59.07, so that's the only swimmer to get under the minute for the halfway split. Leads by about 1.8, 1.9. Looks more than that actually now. It's really pushing this out pretty hard, Lucy.
Yeah, but everything's relative, isn't it? You know, 59 point for somebody who goes 53.8 on a 100 freestyle shouldn't be that difficult, even if it is in season, you know. So Lucy, of course, going to the World Championships as well, and we'll be using this perhaps as our last meet of preparation before she starts to take a wee bit of a rest as she leads into that championship.
So for swimmers like Lucy who are doing the Worlds and then going on to the Commonwealths, how will they manage that? What will be their approach in terms of resting and
Well, she will
prep.
rest. She'll rest obviously because she'll need to be her best at the World Championships. You can't go to the World Championships unless you're going to try and be at your very best form. And I guess when you come back, you have to have a wee bit of a rest just to get over the meet. But then she will change her focus physiologically. She'll need to do a little bit more work at that point in time, and it's almost like what you call a double taper at that stage. So enough work when she gets back off the Worlds to then allow her to have maybe a shorter rest going into the Commonwealth Games. But quite often people are able to swim faster once you've been to one meet and then move on to the next. So I think part of it's mindset as much as anything else. I don't think you can go in and think, well, I'm not going to go faster. I think you can.
Yeah. So 2:01.03, comfortably the fastest qualifier for tonight's final. There you can see the B finalists through Van Run up to Jen Murray. Again, of course, all subject to what happens this afternoon. I guess it was a little bit similar to what they had to do last year with the Europeans, and then Tokyo, not too far after that.
Indeed, I think this when you go from the Europeans to Tokyo, you do tend to look at the Europeans as a preparation meet, albeit that the British team was extremely successful at the Europeans. So if you think about it, they went British Championships, then the Europeans. We had some really good performances, and some people bounced on to the Olympic Games thereafter. But a very successful European Championships and then a very successful Olympic Games that followed.
Yes, of course, Lucy Hope, a star in that relay set. The women's relay in Europeans was
picking up medals left, right, and centre.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and then a final at the Olympic Games as well, which is great.
So on to the men's 200 freestyle now. The lineup for this first heat. No swimmer in 1. We've got Owen Carroll in lane 2 for Perth City. Christian Magnusson of Iceland in 3. Ollie Carter swimming S10 for Stirling University in 4. Travis Davey, Dundee City Aquatics in lane 5. Jack Simpson of East Kilbride in 6. Luke Porteous of East Lothian in 7. And Cedar Gullen of Warrender in lane 8. 27 dead. Travis Davey, 17-year-old from Dundee, leads the way. Good strong start from him. That distinctive pink cap. Others pretty much in a line behind him. Let's see whether they can claw that back. Ollie Carter, experienced S10 para swimmer, now into second spot. So just 8/10 really behind Travis. 58.19 for Travis. 59.01 for Ollie. And he's certainly a swimmer who's progressed hugely, isn't he, in his time at Stirling, Ollie Carter.
He's done a great job. A really delightful young man, to be honest with you. Has progressed really nicely. Hopefully swim at the Commonwealth Games and swim well at the Commonwealth Games as well. But not only known as being a swimmer, but also as an author.
Oh, right.
He actually has a book out at the moment that he wrote during lockdown and is out and available on Amazon apparently.
So look up on that one if you want to see his literary talents. We're seeing his swimming talents at the moment, but he's in a battle now. Christian Magnusson of Iceland has come through. Travis Davey is still right in there, but I think it might be the Icelandic swimmer who's going to take this one. And Travis Davey will take second. Oh, close for third. Just goes to Ollie Carter ahead of Jack Simpson. 2:02.98 then for Christian. That was pretty much on his entry time. 2:02.79. So good swim from the Icelandic swimmer. Second in the Icelandic Championships. So he takes the win there. Davey second, Carter third. Heat number 2. We have Micah van Blerk, so he'll be looking to atone for his DQ earlier. He goes in 0 for Warrender. Murray Pritchard, Perth City in 1, then 2 from the Scottish junior team. Lucas Brown in 2, Callum Peebles in 3. Finn Bremner of Warrender in 4. Scott Fleming of East Kilbride in 5. Ross Noble, who we talked about earlier, going for the Scottish junior team in 6. Louis Lawler, the S14 para swimmer, going for City of Glasgow in 7. Jet Rudd, Maidenhead in 8. And Mads Moller of Denmark in lane 9. Looks like it's going to be lane 3. Callum Peebles just turning first, 27.44. East Lothian base swimmer swimming for the Scottish junior team here. On his right-hand side now, the red cap Finn Bremner Warrender. Down the bottom of your screen, going well, Mads Muller. Plenty of others in the mix as well. As we come down towards halfway, it's still going to be Callum, I think, or is it Mads?
Mads Muller, I think.
Yep, you're right. 58.11. Very similar split to the first heat. Peebles half a second behind him, and Jack Rudd had an excellent 1500 freestyle yesterday. That was a great race, that 1500.
It was, wasn't it? It was good. It was one of those ones where the leads changed hands on quite a few occasions, and then it came down to the last 50, which was great.
Yep, in the end, Jack was led for a lot of the way, but I think he was either second or third in the end, I can't remember. So Mads Muller then, 128.96. Looking to take it from the outside lane, and wouldn't bet against him at this point. Others trying to get on terms with him. Jack Rudd that we just talked about in lane 8. So it's all down to the bottom of the pool with the Warrender swimmer in the mix as well in lane 4, and Finn in fact just edged second place, just touching out Jack Rudd, but Mads Muller taking the win under 2 minutes, 1:59.73 for him. So he was entered 2:01, so that's nice progression for Mads. Finn Bremner 2:00.93 in second, and Jack Rudd third. On to heat number 3. So the line up here: William Ellington of Stirling University in 0, Craig Fairbairn, University of Stirling in 2, Jude Lydiard of Edinburgh University in 3, Cameron Travis of the Scottish junior team in 4, Nicholas Castella of Denmark in 5, Henry Baker of Stirling University in 6, his teammate Tony Joe Tret Oliver in 6, Matthias Christensen of Denmark in 7, Finley Saunders, Edinburgh University in 8, Luke Hornsey goes for Scottish junior team in lane 9. Just checking his goggles there, and up onto the blocks, getting ready to go. So the entry times here range from 1:50 up to 1:58, first of the cycle seeded heats. And strong start from Nicholas Castella, and also in lane 7 Matthias Christensen. So the two Danes taking it out here. Not much separating them, just 1500s. Christensen getting the touch, 26.06. Matthias on 55.98 entry time. Castella on paper quite a bit faster than that, 1:50.44. Lane 6 is Tony Joe Tret Oliver, also in the white cap. And then lane 5 Henry Baker, so the two Stirling swimmers vying for third, but it's the Danes in charge. 200 separating them. Castella this time just getting the touch, 54.75. Silver medalist at the Danish Open. Now starting to make a bit of a move. Tony Joe's having a good meet, Tony Joe. He's now, I think, up along Christensen, and maybe suffering from perhaps going out a bit fast. And he's now back into third place, but his teammate Castella looking good here, 1:23.54. So 28.79 split there. So looking at something in the low 150s for him. Tret Oliver is trying to hunt him down. He's pushing hard, but still about a body length behind as they come to the final 5 meters. This is a pretty comfortable win for Nicholas Castella in 1:52.56. 0.09, so just around a second half away from his entry time, so I think that will be considered a job done in the heats.
Yeah, very nice controlled swim there. Strong down the last 25 as well. Not really a name Nicholas Costella I would associate with Denmark, I have to say.
Well, he's certainly doing Denmark proud here with that swim. And we'll be looking to see what he can do in the final, as we've got some good swimmers to come in these next two heats. Here we go, the lineup for heat number 4. Again, it looks like we've got an empty lane. This time, just looking at is lane 6. So the lineup: George Smith, Flemington Spa in 0, Michael Flynn, City of Glasgow in 1, Jack Munsey, Stirling University in 2, Evan Bailey of Ireland in 3, Jacob Goodman, Loughborough University in 4, Oscar Iceberg of Denmark in 5, Rory McKinnon of the Scottish junior team in 7, Stefan Kravis also from the Scottish junior team in 8, and Casper Pugard of Denmark in lane 9. So another Dane, Oscar Iceberg, taking the touch at the 50 here, 25.87, a little bit faster than the previous heat. Iceberg third in the Danish Open, so behind Costella that time, second and third respectively. Iceberg, 18-year-old. Jacob Goodman just behind him, won the B final at the British Championships. So they are 1 and 2 here, just 4/10 between them. 54.46, again slightly faster than Costella's split. Goodman now almost on terms with Iceberg. And it's a pretty close contest for third, but quite a long way behind the front two. Munsey, the winner of the 1500, that race we were just talking about, is in the battle there with Evan Bailey, the Irishman, for third spot, just ahead of Rory McKinnon in lane 7. But out of that turn, it is Goodman now who has the advantage. So he'll be looking just to make sure of that, see if he can come in inside the 152.09 that we saw from Costella. He's going to be there or thereabout, maybe slightly slower. In fact, it is slower. 153.17. Iceberg 154.37 takes second. Bailey third, 155.85 ahead of Jack Munsey. Information there. So 155-ish, maybe. See how that compares with the swims from this final heat. Again, an empty lane this time. In fact, no, one empty lane, lane 8. So the lineup here: Tom Robinson, Aberdeen Performance in 0, Miles Lapsley, Edinburgh University in 1, 3 Stirling University swimmers: Pierce Greening, Charlie Poole and Stephen Milne in lanes 2, 3 and 4. Charlie Brown of Loughborough University in 5, Reg Lloyd of Stirling University in 6, Liam McLaughlin, Edinburgh University in 7, Peter Allen, Stirling University in 8, Matthew Brown, Aberdeen Performance in lane 9. So 152.09, still the fastest time so far. So Nicholas Costella's time. So we'll see whether any of these swimmers can go faster than that. Stephen Milne, the very experienced 2 and 400 freestyler, taking the early 26.03, but right beside him, Loughborough's Charlie Brown. So these two just about stroke for stroke here, and right there with them, Charlie Poole. Milne is going to turn just in the lead, 55.15. It's not as fast as the previous two heats, around about half a second slower than the previous heat. But nice turn there from Stephen, opened up the gap. Swimming pretty comfortably here, you would think. Just holding this lead of about a metre or so. Charlie Brown still there with him, so we'll be maybe looking to put in a challenge down the final 50. 1:23.8. Again, just a touch slower than the previous two heats at the 150 mark, but again, Stephen certainly seems to be getting something out of the turns here compared with Charlie. And certainly, I think, has got this heat nicely lined up. Let's see how his time compares with the previous two heats. I think it's going to be there or thereabouts. 1:52.55, so slightly slower than Costella, slightly faster than Goodman. So I think he'll probably be in lane 5 in the final tonight. Charlie Brown, 1:54.15. And third place, Reg Lloyd with a strong finish, 1:55.90 for him. Thoughts about that?
Well, I thought Stephen looked quite comfortable there, to be honest with you. His skills around the walls looked pretty good. I think he'd be quite pleased with the way he swam it. And we always know that from Stephen that you're going to get an honest effort, regardless of what the focus is on the race. But one thing's for sure, it looks like there's maybe 4 or 5 guys in there that will be racing hard tonight, and it's whilst you wouldn't say it was world class, but you would say it was definitely a decent 200 freestyle coming up tonight, and I think it'll be a right good scrap.
Yeah, it should be an exciting one, certainly. Looking forward to that. 200 freestyle is always a good race.
That's a good
it?
race.
Yeah, you can't beat it. So we go from the 200 to the 50 backstroke now. Yeah, rattling through the programme this morning. So 50 backstroke will conclude our coverage this morning. We've got the women first and then the men. You see there's 6 heats coming up. We turn our focus up to the other end of the pool and they'll swim back to what is normally the start end. 6 swimmers are scheduled to go in this heat, and looking across it looks like they're all here. Isabel Wood, Lucy Atherton, Kirsty Gilmore, Coco Croxford, Kerry Gillespie and Orla Miles. So 6 Scots. 6 different home programmes. Coco Croxford representing the junior team, City of Glasgow swimmer. So they can see them ready to go. Of course, they do have to test the starting equipment up at that end of the pool, and then just a little bit of fiddling around with those ledges just to make sure they're properly installed, and now we're good to go. So we're looking at 32s across the board here, just a 10th but entry times between these 6 swimmers, so expect this to be pretty close. Some promising youngsters here. So we've got the junior team member, as I said, the 14-year-old Coco Croxford, a number of youth academy swimmers as well. So certainly Coco is in the mix in lane 5. Also going well, Isabel Wood in lane 2. Orla Miles in lane 7. It looks like it's Isabel Wood, the 17-year-old from Stirling, taking this in the end pretty comfortably. It's really tight for second, but Isabel, wow, big win there, 32.34, half a second inside her entry time.
A bit like her 200 freestyle that she's just done was a little bit of a warm-up for the 50 back. Is it not lovely the other way around?
Yeah, it should be nice and loose on that. A dead heat for second there, you see, 33.36. So that will be interesting as we go through, so whether that requires swim-offs or maybe they'll be in the middle of qualifying for something. Well, we'll see. We've got more heats to come, 5 more heats. So there's the lineup for heat 2, all 10 lanes in use. Eva Smith, Natasha Simpson, Melissa Menny, Helen Stoddart, Catherine Renfrew, Emma McGavin, Grace Davison, Libby Doubleday, Anna Easton and Laura Frizzell. 32.0 to 32.7, the range of entry times here. And a strong start from lane 6, Grace Davison, the Irish swimmer, 32.31. We saw her swimming earlier, and she's going to be completely dominating this one. Again, it's going to be close for second, maybe Catherine Renfrew coming in for second. Melissa Menny in third, but 31.06, that's a big improvement on Grace's entry time of 32.31. So, well, that just we'll keep an eye on that 31.06 as the heats progress. Certainly the top swimmers should be in the 30 points or below. Heat 3 coming up. Emma Finley, Layla Weatherspoon, Ailey Armstrong, Millie Milne, Ella Stevenson, Kiana Bellotti, Maria Howe, Molly McAlorum, Zoe Crawford, and Suna Arfinsdottir. So let's see how they go. 31.2 to 32.0. The range of times here. Again, pretty close affair. So who is going to come out of this one? Well, it's tight to call. Lanes 1 and 2 going well. Weatherspoon and Armstrong. Lane 5 is up there. Lane 7's up there. It is Molly McAlorum in lane 7. The Ulster swimmer 31.66. So her entry time 31.62, so pretty much right on that mark. Just wait for the official result to come up in case there is a problem. Yes, but no, it looks like we're okay. Bellotti second, 31.87, and Suna. So I can tell you Suna J is Suna Arfinsdottir. She takes third. Just running out of letters on our timing system there.
But not your tongue, Duncan.
Oh, the Icelandic swimmers might have different views about that. We're doing our best, honest. So heat number 4, Lucy Stowes, Christine Norby, Kira Sterica, Amy Shields, Emily Grant, Tatiana Tostevin, Ava Simpson, Emma Scobie, Shastine Tabor, and Louise Thiested. Strong start there in lane 7. Emma Scobie, very much backstroke 50 specialist from Kirkintilloch. Beside her, Shastine Tabor. She's shown some good form so far this weekend. And lane 1, though, I think it's going to be Christine Norby taking the win. No, Emily Grant nicked it. I'm sure it was going to be Christine there.
Emily managed to just land her finish right on the wall, so it's a good finish that just took it, I think, in the end.
Yeah, 200s in it. Norby second, 30.34. Tabor in third spot.
Fantastic to see Emily Grant still swimming away at the moment. Qualified for the British Championship, swam extremely well down there as well, and seems to really love her swimming. Which
is half the battle, isn't it, if you love it. So no lane 9, as you can see here in heat 5. So we've got Lucy Lucas, Yasmin Hammerlane, Charlie Jones, Rachel Saunders, Tame Bruce, Martine Damburg, Jennifer King, Hannah Willis, and Sophie Hirsch. So the second of the cycle seeded heats here. And again, this is going to be close. Sometimes get a slightly misleading view of the camera angles as to who's actually leading this one. But going well in lane 1 is Yasmin Hammerlane of Millfield, and it looks like she's going to take this. Got it wrong last time, but I don't think I'm going to get it wrong this time. She takes it in 30.07, so that's a quarter of a second faster than Emily's time. So good a swim from the Millfield swimmer. A couple of tenths inside range time, which is a time she did at Sheffield at the British Champs, so she'll be happy to take another couple of tenths off that. Martine Damburg second, 30.29, and Charlie Jones third in 30.4. Heat number 6. So as they get into the water, just looking across, as far as I can see, they're all present and correct. Fern Crichton, Kiana Kurtzer, Rebecca Reed, Anna Green, Cassie Wild, Steingerda Hauksdotter, Frida Knudsen, Holly McGill, Natasha Whittle, and Catriona Stewart. So fastest time here, Cassie Wild, 27.85. She's in the white cap right beside her, Steingerda Hauptstotter, a very experienced Icelandic swimmer, 26-year-old. So it's these two leading the way in the white caps. Looks like Wild just edging it as we come towards the final five. Needs a good finish just to make sure, and she dips nicely into the wall to take the win in 29.44. Can see fourth in the British Championships, and Savan fourth in the European Championships.
30.6 there for Kiana Kurtza and Holly McGill. That be a wee...
Yep, so it looks like we've got 30.51.
Not quite in a swim off there, not quite.
Yep. So there you see the 30.6 is joint 12th. So
no need.
Barring withdrawals, they'll be in the B final. I guess you could say that was tie for second reserve for the A final. That's well,
yeah.
I doubt they'll swim off for that.
I doubt it. Yeah.
And running through all the remaining whole host of swimmers on the 32s there. Of course, the chances in the 50 of a swim off are so much higher than in the longer events. But we had one yesterday, but it doesn't look so far like we're going to have one today. You never know. 50 backstroke still to come for the men. Again, there'll be 6 heats of this. And there is the lineup for the first of them. Just looking like there are some empty lanes. Just see as they go into the pool. Yep. Looks like we've got no lane 3. So we've got Dylan McCombie, Blair McKean, John Mackay, Kyle Mitchell, Corey Phillip, Richard Laws, Luke Porteous, Keane Smith and Cedar Gullen. 29.8 to 30.2. Range of times here. So coming down, strong start from Perth City's John Mackay in lane 2. See if he can sustain that. Going well in 0. Dylan McCombie of South Aberdeenshire. It looks like, well, it's going to be between these two, I think. It'll be about the touch. Also on the near side, going strongly, Keane Smith. In fact, Keane and Cedar just coming through very strongly in the end to take it. So lanes 8 and 9 in the end, the ones taking the honours. With Keane just edging it by 200ths, 30.22. So Adrian Monkland swimmer. Nice to see some of the sort of less strong clubs, I guess, getting their moments in the sun.
Smaller clubs, I suppose. You know, it's nice. It's great. It really is good. Doesn't matter where you are in the country, you should be able to find a swimming club.
Yep, plenty in central Scotland in the Airdrie area. Hamilton, of course, as well. East Kilbride, Bells Hill, those are them. Hamilton, yes. So this is Heat 2. Cameron Doran, Swani Tully, Rory Young, Bernier Halfdarnason, Owen Williamson, Logan van der Merlen, Adam Ritchie, Ethan Stewart, Lex Garrett and Tom Armitage. Again, we got, well, lane 3, I think, this time, and lane 0. Bernier Halfdarnason, I think, will take it. Flying the flag for Iceland, 28.47. That's a very nice improvement for him. Over half a second inside his entry time. Well done, Bernier. Confirmation there. Ethan Stewart second. Adam Ritchie third. 29.31, 29.38 for them. But an emphatic win for Bernier there. Heat 3. All swimmers in the water there. So Matthew Brown, Ross Noble, Callum Dunn, Robbie Boyd, Fraser Wilson, Ben Carr, Dylan Cashmore, Rory McKinnon, Callum Peebles and Salvador Gordo. So 28.2 to 28.8 in this one. So lane 5, Ben Carr, who's had some good swims this weekend. New Zealander based in Edinburgh. And lane 1, Ross Noble. Also lane 9, Salvador Gordo. They're the 3, and it's Salvador. Seen some cracking swims from lane 9 this morning. And that's another one there from Salvador. Inside his entry time by 9/10, 28.81 entry time, 27.92. What's not to like that? Ben Carr also improves on his entry time, and Ross Noble as well. 28.28 for Ross, so some good PBs there.
Yeah, the third swim of the day for Ross Noble as well, which
so as you say, just warming up for the 50.
Just warming up for the 50 at the end.
So into the cycle seeded heats, and here we've got Ryan Ferguson, Robert Burgess, Robert Pedersen, Zach Speakman, Martin Walton, Cameron Brooker, Jamie Robertson, Casper Pugard, Anna Sneva Hauksson, and Alex Thompson. Martin Walton, another one who's achieved a Commonwealth nomination time. So we'll see how he goes in lane 4. Beside him, Cameron Brooker of Bath. So some pretty accomplished backstrokers here. So who is going to take the honours? It's really close as we come in. Maybe Walton just edging it now. Let's see as he comes in. He was taking that pretty hard, I think. 26.05. It's pretty respectable. So Martin, winner of the B final at the British Championships, and taking heat 4 here. From Brooker 26.22 and Robertson 26.37. 2 more races to go and we are done, and this is the first of them. Heat 5. Michael Flynn, Lucas Brown, Sam Pease, Shaquille Gorgiani, Mark Ford, Craig McNally, Conor Massey, Brogan Hyde, Alexander Harris, Greer van der Merlen. 25.30 Mark Ford. That's the fastest entry time. City of Glasgow swimmer. It's lane 7 is looking strong. Brogan Hyde. Lane 5 now, Craig McNally. Lane 2, Sam Pease. I think it's going to be McNally taking this one. It is 26.40. Just missed in the top 3 in the 200 backstroke, but looking pretty nifty there on the 50. Not quite as fast as Walton in the previous heat, but got a good strong set of 50 backstrokers at the moment, haven't we, in Scotland? And of course there's one still to come here, Scott Gibson.
Indeed, but I suppose again everything's relative, isn't it? And we've got people around the world going 24 and a half or 24 low, puts everything in perspective.
So let's see what we can get here from this final race of the morning. We've got Louis Lawler, the S14 swimmer from City of Glasgow, then Jude Lydiard, Cameron Travis, Matthew Ward, Scott Gibson, Jonathan Adam, Elliot Clogg, Mads Moeller, Callum Rose and Luke Hornsey. So in the centre lanes it's Scott Gibson and Jonathan Adam. Maybe Adam just with the edge here. Let's see as we come through, and now it is Gibson just, but there's not too much in it here as we come in. Let's see who gets the touch. Oh, it's Adam by 100th, 25.64 against 25.65. So Jonathan Adam right on his entry time of 25.61. Gibson there just 100th off him. Elliot Clogg taking 3rd, just nicking it from Matthew Ward. So a good strong swim from Jonathan Adam there to finish off our swimming for the morning session. The British Championship finalist. So we'll just get the summary there. You have it. And there's 11th to 20th. So Sam P just missing out on a place in the A final. Looks like we got a swim off though. So we did get our swim off. So happy days there. It's a 200 freestyle. You don't often see a 200 freestyle swim off. So that's doing hum. And as we had yesterday, it was an all Edinburgh affair. It's going to be Abby Hull against Lauren Patterson. So that's still to come. So
It's a wee Brucey bonus.
now you're showing your age.
Until I get my old nice to see it.
Yep, so just looking at that, so of course they've not had too much recovery time from the 200 freestyle. But,
And normally you see people on a swim off going quicker, don't you? So this one will be interesting to see if you do get the same reaction.
so these two swimmers were joint 21st. So I guess this is for first reserve in the B final. Both of them are seniors, so no prospect of them swimming in the junior final. So they'll certainly, I think, want to be first reserve. That gives them a better chance, clearly, of, if there is a withdrawal, of getting their second swim tonight. So 2:09.27 is what they swam in the heats.
Of course, teammates as well, so it's...
Yeah, it was an Edinburgh swim off head-to-head yesterday, and the same again here. So it's Abby Hull in lane 4 against Lauren Patterson in lane 5. So off they go. Not too much to separate them early on.
Just wonder what the tactics are going to be in this one. Whether it's just stroke it out for 150 and have a race down the last 50, or is it actually going to be a 200 free?
Well, I guess it depends on where they think they've got their edge, doesn't it? The one who thinks that they've got the sprint will be quite happy to take that tactic. And if somebody's more of an endurance swimmer, then they'll want to maybe take the sprint out of the other swimmer. So who knows?
These are both much of a muchness, so I think it'll be... Well, it looks like they're going for it again, to be honest, and they're pretty close coming down the second 50.
Yeah, perhaps, well, I was going to say the edge with lane 5, but they're really absolutely together at the halfway mark. Let's say the touch just going to lane 5, Lauren Patterson by 900ths.
Lauren's underwater work is just slightly better, I think, so it might just give her the edge when it gets to the last 50. She gets round the wall quicker.
Yeah, so Abby, is she just having to work that a little bit harder?
Or is Lauren just hanging in there because she's got good skills?
Well, let's see.
It looks pretty close again, though, doesn't it?
I think it's going to be Abby this time with the advantage, and advantage of half a second. So Lauren now needs to turn it on because Abby has made her move. Lauren trying to bring it back again.
Oh, here we go.
So half a length to go. And it's certainly not over yet by any means. Abby still has the edge, but that lead is shrinking now. 10 meters to go. Who is going to get this one? Are we going to get another tie? Who knows? This is coming in absolutely together. Oh, so close. 200.
And both faster as well.
Yeah, well done, ladies.
Great effort.
Yeah. So soon after their race as well. But it's Lauren Patterson by 200ths against Abby Hull. So close. What would they have done if they tied again?
I know.
Anyway, a great way to finish off the morning session. We hope you've enjoyed the session today. So we just wait for that. You can see their coverage this afternoon starts at 12:20. We hope to see you there. But Ali, it's been a pleasure as always to have you in the commentary box. Thank you very much for your company.
Great to be with you, thank you.
So for now, we'll wish you a very good, is it morning? I think it's still morning. Yes, it is. A very good morning from Tollcross International Swimming Centre.